Listen to me carefully. Right now, as you're reading this, there are two versions of you fighting for control. One version wants to stay comfortable, wants to hit snooze, wants to scroll through social media and pretend that tomorrow will somehow be different. The other version, that version is a warrior. That version knows that your life is your fight, and nobody, absolutely nobody, is coming to save you. You want to know what separates winners from losers? It's not talent. It's not luck. It's not the family you were born into or the cards you were dealt. It's the willingness to step into the arena every single day and fight for the life you want. Most people are spectators in their own existence. They watch their dreams fade away like smoke while they make excuses about why they can't, why it's too hard, why the system is against them. But you're different. You have to be different because this is your life. And if you're not willing to fight for it, who will? Let me tell you something about comfort. Comfort is the enemy of greatness. Every time you choose the easy path, every time you avoid the difficult conversation, every time you skip the workout or procrastinate on your goals, you're surrendering in the fight for your life. You're handing victory to mediocrity. And mediocrity is a disease that spreads faster than any virus. It starts with one compromise, one excuse, one moment of weakness, and before you know it, you're living someone else's life, a life of quiet desperation where your dreams are just memories of what could have been. The brutal truth is that the world doesn't care about your potential. The world only respects results. You can have all the talent in the world, all the intelligence, all the good intentions, but if you're not executing, if you're not putting in the work when nobody's watching, then you're just another person with unfulfilled potential. And unfulfilled potential is the greatest tragedy of human existence. Your fight isn't against other people. Your fight is against the voice in your head that tells you to quit when things get hard. Your fight is against your own weakness, your own fears, your own doubts. Here's what most people don't understand. Discipline is the ultimate form of self-respect. When you force yourself to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it, you're telling yourself that you matter, that your dreams matter, that your future matters more than your temporary comfort. Every rep in the gym, every hour of focused work, every moment you resist instant gratification. That's you winning a battle in the war for your life. And wars aren't won in a single day. They're won through consistent, relentless action over time. You know what I've learned? The universe rewards audacity. It rewards people who are willing to risk everything for what they believe in. Society wants you to play it safe, to get a mediocre job, to settle for a mediocre relationship, to live a mediocre life. But safety is an illusion. The riskiest thing you can do is play it safe because you're guaranteeing that you'll never reach your full potential. You're guaranteeing that you'll die with your music still inside you. Your fight is about refusing to accept anything less than excellence in every area of your life. And yes, you're going to face obstacles. You're going to face people who doubt you, who criticize you, who want to see you fail because your success reminds them of their own failures. You're going to face setbacks and disappointments and moments where you question everything. But that's when the real fight begins. That's when you discover what you're truly made of. Champions aren't created in moments of victory. They're forged in moments of adversity. Every time you get knocked down and get back up, you're building the mental fortress that will make you unstoppable. Your life is happening right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when conditions are perfect. Right now. And the question you need to ask yourself is simple. Are you fighting for the life you want, or are you surrendering to the life you'll get by default? Because make no mistake, if you're not actively creating your reality, someone else is creating it for you. Your boss is creating it. The media is creating it. Society is creating it. And they don't have your best interests at heart. This is your moment. This is your fight. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for the perfect time. Stop waiting for someone to believe in you. Believe in yourself so intensely that it becomes impossible for the universe to ignore you. Take ownership of every aspect of your life, your health, your wealth, your relationships, your mindset. Be uncompromising in your standards. Be relentless in your pursuit. Be willing to stand alone if necessary, because the path to greatness is often a lonely one. Listen to me very carefully, because what I'm about to tell you will either wake you up or you'll ignore it and continue sleepwalking through your existence. Comfort is not your reward for hard work. Comfort is the silent assassin that's destroying your future while whispering sweet lies in your ear. Right now, in this very moment, you're either building yourself or breaking yourself. And I guarantee that if you're comfortable, you're breaking yourself. You want to know why most people never achieve anything significant in their lives? It's not because they lack talent or intelligence or opportunity. It's because they're addicted to comfort like it's a drug, and they don't even realize they're hooked. Think about your average day. How many times do you choose the path of least resistance? You hit the snooze button instead of attacking the morning. You scroll through social media instead of working on your business. You watch Netflix instead of reading books that could transform your mind. You eat junk food instead of fueling your body properly. You avoid difficult conversations instead of addressing problems head on. Every single one of these choices feels insignificant in the moment, but they're compounding against you. They're building a version of you that's weak, undisciplined, and destined for mediocrity. And the most dangerous part, it feels good. That's the trap. Comfort feels like you're treating yourself well, like you're being kind to yourself, but you're actually committing slow suicide of your potential. Your brain is wired for survival, not for success. It wants to conserve energy. It wants to avoid danger. It wants to keep you in familiar territory because familiar equals safe. But here's the problem. Everything you want in life exists outside your comfort zone. The body you want requires workouts that make you want to quit. The wealth you desire requires risks that terrify you. The relationship you dream about requires vulnerability that exposes you. The business you want to build requires failures that will humiliate you. There is no version of reality where you achieve extraordinary results while living an ordinary, comfortable life. It doesn't exist. It's a fantasy sold to you by people who want you to stay exactly where you are. Let me paint you a picture of what comfort really costs you. Every morning you stay in bed instead of getting up to train, you're not just missing a workout. You're reinforcing the neural pathway that tells your brain it's okay to quit when things get hard. You're programming yourself for failure. Every time you choose the easy conversation instead of the necessary one, you're not just avoiding conflict. You're teaching yourself that your comfort matters more than your growth, more than your relationships, more than your integrity. Every time you procrastinate on your goals because you don't feel motivated, you're not just delaying progress. You're proving to yourself that you're the type of person who abandons their dreams the moment the road gets difficult. The warriors, the champions, the people who actually build empires and transform their lives understand something fundamental that average people refuse to accept. They understand that comfort and growth cannot coexist. You cannot build muscle without tearing muscle fibers. You cannot build wealth without the discomfort of delayed gratification and calculated risks. You cannot build mental toughness without facing situations that test your resolve. The discomfort is not something to avoid. It's the price of admission to the life you claim you want. And here's what separates winners from losers. Winners pay that price gladly every single day because they know that temporary discomfort creates permanent results while temporary comfort creates permanent regret. Stop negotiating with yourself. Stop making deals with your weakness. Stop believing that you'll somehow stumble into greatness while choosing comfort at every turn. The clock is ticking. Every day you spend comfortable is a day you'll never get back. Your competition isn't being comfortable. Your future self is depending on you to be uncomfortable right now. Make the hard choice. Do the difficult thing. Embrace the struggle like it's your salvation because it is. You want to know the real secret to transforming your life. It's not some complicated strategy or hidden knowledge that only the elite possess. It's discipline. But here's what nobody tells you about discipline. It's not just about getting things done. Discipline is the most profound act of self-love you can possibly engage in. Every time you honor a commitment to yourself, every time you do what you said you would do, even when every fiber of your being is screaming at you to quit, you're sending a powerful message to your subconscious mind. You're telling yourself that you matter. You're declaring that your word has value. You're proving that you're the type of person who can be trusted, starting with trusting yourself. Most people treat themselves worse than they would treat a stranger. Think about that for a second. If you promise to meet a friend at the gym at 6 in the morning, You'd probably show up because you don't want to let them down, but you have no problem breaking promises to yourself every single day. You tell yourself you're going to wake up early, and then you don't. You tell yourself you're going to eat clean, and then you don't. You tell yourself you're going to work on your business for 2 hours, and then you don't. What you're really saying is that you don't respect yourself enough to keep your own commitments. You're communicating to yourself that your goals don't matter, that your dreams are negotiable, that you're not worth the effort. And this pattern of self-betrayal compounds over time until you become someone you can't even trust. Listen carefully because this is critical. Your relationship with yourself is the foundation of everything in your life. If you can't trust yourself to follow through on basic commitments, how can you expect to build a successful business? How can you expect to maintain meaningful relationships? How can you expect to achieve anything significant? The answer is you can't. Discipline is how you build self-trust. Every morning you get up, when the alarm goes off, instead of hitting snooze, you're making a deposit into your self-trust account. Every time you go to the gym, when you don't feel like it, you're proving to yourself that feelings don't control you. Every time you choose the difficult task over the easy distraction, you're reinforcing the identity of someone who does hard things. And here's where it gets really powerful. When you consistently demonstrate discipline in one area of your life, it bleeds into every other area. The discipline you develop in the gym translates to discipline in your business. The discipline you build in your diet translates to discipline in your finances. The discipline you cultivate in your morning routine translates to discipline in your relationships. It's not about being perfect in every moment. It's about understanding that each moment of discipline is building the architecture of your character. You're literally constructing the person you're becoming with every single choice you make. The undisciplined life is a life of chaos and regret. You wake up whenever you feel like it, which means you start every day in reaction mode instead of creation mode. You eat whatever's convenient, which means you're slowly destroying the only body you'll ever have. You work when you're motivated, which means your results are completely dependent on your emotional state. You're essentially giving control of your life to your feelings, and feelings are the most unreliable guide you could possibly follow. Feelings change every hour. Feelings are influenced by your sleep, your blood sugar, the weather, a random comment someone made. If your life is governed by feelings, your life will be as unstable and unpredictable as your emotional state. Disciplined people operate differently. They've decoupled action from emotion. They don't ask themselves if they feel like doing something. They ask themselves if it needs to be done. And if it needs to be done, they do it. Period. No negotiation. No internal debate, no waiting for motivation to strike. This is the ultimate freedom. Freedom from your own weakness, freedom from your own excuses, freedom from the tyranny of your emotions. When you build discipline, you're not restricting yourself. You're liberating yourself from the prison of inconsistency and creating the life you actually want instead of the life your impulses create for you. Here's the harsh truth that most people spend their entire lives avoiding. You are alone in this fight. I don't say that to depress you or to make you feel isolated. I say it to liberate you from the most dangerous delusion that keeps people trapped in mediocrity, the fantasy that someone is going to swoop in and fix your problems. Your parents aren't going to call you one day with a solution to your financial struggles. Your government isn't going to pass a law that suddenly makes your life easier. Your boss isn't going to wake up tomorrow and decide to double your salary out of the goodness of their heart. That lottery ticket isn't going to hit. That perfect opportunity isn't going to fall into your lap while you're sitting on your couch. And that person you're waiting to validate you, to believe in you, to give you permission to start, they're never coming. Right now, as you're processing these words, there's a part of you that's resisting this message. That part of you wants to believe that if you just wait a little longer, if you just complain a little louder, if you just explain your situation to enough people, someone will finally understand and help you. But let me destroy that illusion right now. The world doesn't owe you anything. Not success, not happiness, not opportunity, not fairness, nothing. And the moment you truly accept this, the moment you internalize that your life is 100% your responsibility, that's the moment everything changes. That's the moment you stop being a victim and start being a victor. You know what the victim mindset sounds like. It blames the economy for financial problems. It blames genetics for being out of shape. It blames childhood for current relationship issues. It blames the system for lack of opportunities. It blames everything and everyone except the person in the mirror. And I'm not saying that external circumstances don't matter. I'm not saying that some people don't face harder challenges than others. What I'm saying is that your response to those circumstances is the only thing that determines your outcome. You can have every reason in the world to fail, and you can still choose to succeed. Or you can have every advantage in the world and still choose to fail. The difference is ownership. When you take complete ownership of your life, something extraordinary happens. You stop wasting energy on things you can't control and start investing all your energy into things you can control. You can't control the economy, but you can control your skills and your work ethic. You can't control your genetics, but you can control your training and your nutrition. You can't control your past, but you can control what you do today. This shift from external focus to internal focus is the single most powerful transformation you can make. Because when you believe external forces control your destiny, you're powerless. But when you believe you control your destiny, you become unstoppable. Let me tell you what happens when you truly embrace the fact that nobody's coming to save you. You stop making excuses. You stop waiting. You stop looking for shortcuts. You realize that if you want something, you have to build it yourself. If you want to be wealthy, you have to create value and exchange it in the marketplace. If you want to be fit, you have to train your body consistently. If you want meaningful relationships, you have to develop the character that attracts quality people. If you want respect, you have to become respectable. Everything you want is on the other side of personal responsibility. The people who succeed at the highest levels all share this one characteristic. They operate as if the outcome depends entirely on them. They don't hope for success. They don't wish for opportunities. They don't pray for easier circumstances. They create success through relentless action. They manufacture opportunities through strategic thinking. They overcome circumstances through sheer force of will. And when they fail, they don't look for someone to blame. They look in the mirror, identify what they did wrong, and adjust their approach. This is what radical ownership looks like. This is what separates champions from everyone else who's waiting for permission to start living. You're sitting there right now paralyzed by fear, aren't you? You know exactly what you need to do. You know you need to have that difficult conversation. You know you need to start that business. You know you need to make that phone call. You know you need to post that content. You know you need to ask for that raise. You know you need to end that toxic relationship, but you're not doing it. You're thinking about it. You're planning it. You're analyzing it. You're waiting for the fear to go away before you take action. And here's the brutal truth that's going to save your life if you let it sink in. The fear never goes away. You don't think your way into courage. You act your way into courage. Fear is not your enemy. Fear is information. It's your nervous system telling you that you're about to do something significant, something that matters, something that could change your life. The problem is that most people interpret fear as a stop sign when it's actually a green light. When you feel fear, that's your signal that you're on the right path. Comfortable actions don't create fear. Scrolling social media doesn't create fear. Staying in your dead-end job doesn't create fear. Avoiding your problems doesn't create fear. You know what creates fear? Growth, change, risk, putting yourself out there, betting on yourself. These are the things that terrify you, and these are exactly the things that will transform your life. Let me tell you what happens when you take action despite fear. First, you prove to yourself that fear is a liar. Fear tells you that you'll fail, that you'll be rejected, that you'll be humiliated, that you can't handle it. But when you act anyway and survive, when you do the thing and realize you're still standing, you break fear's power over you. Second, you build momentum. Action creates energy. Motion creates emotion. The hardest part of any task is starting it, but once you're in motion, once you've taken that first step, the second step becomes easier. Momentum is your greatest ally in the war against fear and procrastination. Third, you compress time. 1 hour of focused, uncomfortable action will move you further toward your goals than 100 hours of comfortable planning and preparation. Here's what I've learned building multiple successful businesses and transforming my life completely. You don't need confidence to take action. That's the biggest lie people tell themselves. They say, I'll do it when I feel more confident. But confidence doesn't create action. Action creates confidence. You become confident by doing the thing you're afraid to do and succeeding. You become confident by failing and realizing failure doesn't destroy you. You become confident through repetition and experience, not through positive thinking and affirmations. Stop waiting to feel ready. Stop waiting to feel confident. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. The perfect moment is now, and you'll never feel completely ready for anything worthwhile. Think about every major regret in your life. I guarantee that most of them aren't things you did. They're things you didn't do because you were afraid. The relationship you didn't pursue. The opportunity you didn't seize. The dream you didn't chase. The truth you didn't speak. Fear robbed you of those experiences, and it will continue to rob you of your future unless you make a fundamental decision right now that you will no longer allow fear to make decisions for you. You feel the fear, you acknowledge the fear, and then you act anyway. This is what courage actually is. It's not the absence of fear. It's action in the presence of fear. Every single day you wait is a day you're training yourself to be controlled by fear. Every time you choose comfort over growth because you're afraid, you're reinforcing the neural pathways of cowardice. You're literally programming yourself to be someone who runs from challenges instead of running toward them. But the beautiful thing is that it works in reverse too. Every time you feel fear and act anyway, you're programming yourself for courage. You're building the mental muscle that will allow you to do bigger and scarier things in the future. Start small if you must, but start now. Look around at your life right now. The apartment you live in, the car you drive, the relationship you're in, the body you have, the bank account balance, the quality of your friendships. All of it is a direct reflection of the standards you've accepted, not the standards you claim to have, not the standards you talk about, the standards you've actually enforced in your life through your daily choices and behaviors. And if you're honest with yourself, if you strip away all the excuses and justifications, you'll realize that you're getting exactly what you've been willing to tolerate. This is either the most depressing realization or the most empowering one, depending on what you choose to do with this information. Most people have incredibly high standards for others and pathetically low standards for themselves. They expect their partner to be loyal, but they're not loyal to their own goals. They expect their employer to pay them well, but they don't invest in developing valuable skills. They expect their body to function optimally, but they feed it garbage and never train it. They expect respect from the world, but they don't respect themselves enough to keep basic commitments. This disconnect between what you demand from others and what you demand from yourself is why you're stuck. You cannot have $1 million dream with a minimum wage work ethic. You cannot have a champion's physique with a loser's diet. You cannot have a warrior's life with a victim's mentality. Here's what happens when you raise your standards. At first, it's uncomfortable. It's harder. You have to say no to things that used to bring you temporary pleasure. You have to distance yourself from people who keep you small. You have to invest time and money into your growth instead of entertainment. You have to face the reality that you've been settling, and that realization stings. But after the initial discomfort, something magical happens. You start becoming the type of person who naturally attracts the life you want. When you have high standards for your health, you stop craving junk food because you've reprogrammed your taste buds. When you have high standards for your time, you stop tolerating energy vampires who drain you with pointless drama. When you have high standards for your work, you stop producing mediocre results because excellence becomes your baseline. The question you need to ask yourself constantly is this: is what I'm doing right now aligned with who I'm trying to become? Every single action you take is either moving you closer to the person you want to be or further away from them. There is no neutral. When you eat that fast food, you're not just consuming calories. You're voting for the version of yourself that accepts low standards in nutrition. When you skip that workout, you're not just missing training. You're voting for the version of yourself that quits when things get inconvenient. When you tolerate disrespect in a relationship, you're not just keeping the peace. You're voting for the version of yourself that doesn't believe they deserve better. Your life is a democracy where you cast votes every moment of every day, and the winner is whoever gets the most votes. Let me tell you about the people I respect most in this world. They're not perfect. They make mistakes. They have bad days, but they have non-negotiable standards in key areas of their lives. They might be flexible about many things, but there are certain lines they will never cross. They will never miss their training, no matter how busy they are. They will never compromise their integrity, no matter how profitable the opportunity. They will never tolerate toxic people in their inner circle, no matter how long they've known them. These non-negotiables create the backbone of their character and the foundation of their success. You need to identify your non-negotiables right now. What are the standards you will enforce no matter what? What are the behaviors you will no longer accept from yourself? What are the environments you will no longer subject yourself to? Because I promise you this, the moment you stop accepting less than you deserve is the moment your life starts changing. Not next year, not when circumstances improve. Right now, your standards are either elevating you or destroying you, and there's no middle ground. You have two types of pain available to you in this life, and you're going to experience one of them whether you like it or not. There's no third option. There's no escape route. You either choose the pain of discipline or you accept the pain of regret. And let me tell you something that will haunt you. If you make the wrong choice, the pain of discipline weighs ounces, but the pain of regret weighs tons. Right now, in this moment, you have the ability to choose temporary discomfort that leads to permanent improvement, or you can choose temporary comfort that leads to permanent disappointment. Which one sounds like the better deal when I put it like that? The pain of discipline is sharp and immediate. It's waking up at 5 in the morning when your bed feels like heaven. It's pushing through that last set when your muscles are screaming. It's saying no to the party because you have work to do. It's investing money into your education instead of buying things to impress people you don't even like. It's having the difficult conversation instead of avoiding conflict. It hurts. It's uncomfortable. But here's the thing about discipline pain. It has an expiration date. You feel it intensely in the moment, but then it passes. And what you're left with is progress, results, growth, and the deep satisfaction of knowing you did what most people won't do. The pain of discipline is like a vaccine. It's a small amount of controlled suffering that immunizes you against massive suffering later. But the pain of regret, that's a different animal entirely. Regret doesn't fade with time. It compounds, it grows stronger. It wakes you up at 3 in the morning when you're 45 years old and you realize you wasted your youth chasing comfort instead of building something meaningful. It's looking at your body in the mirror and knowing that you could have been in incredible shape if you'd just been consistent for the last 5 years. It's watching someone else live your dream because they were willing to take the risks you weren't. It's sitting in a job you hate for another decade because you never built the skills or took the action necessary to escape. Regret is the ghost that haunts you for the rest of your life, whispering, "What if?" in your ear during every quiet moment. Think about the people at the end of their lives. Talk to anyone who's 70, 80, 90 years old and ask them about their regrets. You know what they never say? They never say, "I wish I had taken it easier. I wish I had worked less hard. I wish I had pursued my goals less aggressively." That's not what keeps people up at night in their final years. What destroys them is the opposite. "I wish I had started that business. I wish I had traveled more. I wish I had told her I loved her. I wish I had taken that risk. I wish I had bet on myself." The things you don't do, the chances you don't take, the person you don't become, that's what creates soul-crushing regret that follows you to your grave. Here's the brutal mathematics of it. If you choose discipline today, you might suffer for an hour a day, maybe a few months as you build a new habit or pursue a difficult goal. But that suffering is productive. It's building something. It's creating the life you actually want. If you choose comfort to today, you feel good now, but you're creating years and decades of regret. You're mortgaging your future happiness for present comfort. And just like a financial mortgage, the interest compounds. The longer you wait, the more expensive it becomes to fix your life. Every day you don't take action is another day of regret you're stacking up for your future self to deal with. Stop negotiating with your future. Stop pretending that somehow everything will work out if you just keep doing what you're doing. It won't. Your current trajectory determines your destination, and if you don't like where you're headed, you need to change course immediately. The pain of change is nothing compared to the pain of staying the same and watching your life slip away. Choose your pain wisely because you're going to feel one of them regardless. Remember this, you only get one life, one shot to leave your mark on this world, one opportunity to become the person you were meant to be. Don't waste it being comfortable. Don't waste it seeking approval from people who aren't even pursuing their own dreams. Don't waste it playing small. Your life is your fight, and the bell has already rung. The question is, are you going to show up like a champion, or are you going to let this round, and every round after it, pass you by? The choice is yours. The power is yours. Now, get in the arena and fight like your life depends on it, because it does.